just spoke with the self-proclaimed national chairman in the person of Lamidi Apapa, and he's saying he's relying on Article 14 2AB of the party constitution, that's the Labour Party constitution. And just, just to give it some perspective, this section actually says 2A, it says the deputy national chairman shall assist the national chairman in the discharge of his duties. B, a deputy national chairman shall act in the absence of the national chairman and shall, in the absence of the national chairman, preside over the meetings of the party. That's the section that Mr. Lamidi Apapa is relying on.
Well, if the presumption is that the tenure of Julius Abure has expired when he was national chairman,
Right.
What follows, what normally follows is that the tenure of the deputy national chairman also have expired. So in that case, it's difficult to understand where the respected Chief Lamidi Apapa derives his authority from. But of course, Julius Abure appears to be clearly on the losing side, given the recent revelations that have come after the CTC of the Supreme Court judgment was made available.
Yes.
However, can Senator Nenadi Usman claim to be the leader of the Labour Party as a result of being a sort of caretaker committee chairman? Where did she derive that kind of power from? Who conveyed a certain neck? It ought to have been...
Not even when critical stakeholders of the party say, look, we want to set up a caretaker committee to resolve in the interim the issues plaguing the party.
If they proceed on that kind of argument, they're simply validating Lamidi Apapa's argument. Lamidi Apapa's argument is weakened by the fact that Julius Abure was not sacked, as a result of the fact that he lived out, he expired his tenure. His tenure expired. And as such, the Lamidi Apapa's tenure also expired. So you don't really have an executive of the national executive of the Labour Party in place. There is clearly a vacuum.
So what you're saying is the INEC, the electoral umpire, is the final, or should be the final arbiter in this case.
That is
not the court.
INEC only needs to recognize a certain a group of persons as leaders of the Labour Party, and that settles it. So INEC at this time must exercise that responsibility under Section 83 of the Electoral Act.
Is there, now, INEC will not be going beyond its
It will not,
role.
because INEC will have to look, and that's why we cannot shy away from commending those who have recognize the role of INEC by approaching INEC. But does not mean that INEC should in any way give them any preference. INEC must now realize that, see, you cannot build, something on nothing. In that case, the Senator Nenadi Usman's emergence must be based on something that is legal in accordance with the constitution of the Labour Party. Now, Lamidi Apapa does not have any ground because whatever has affected Julius Abure has affected him. In that case,
is he aware of that?
Would INEC now recognize Senator Nenadi Usman because the Supreme Court said to have resolved a number of issues in her favor? Not quite. At this point, there should be a proper directive to the Labour Party that abide by the Constitution, by your Constitution, by the Labour Party Constitution. A national convention ought to.
Who will give that directive? Is it INEC or
I think that INEC can give. I think in this case, in subjective terms, I think INEC can give a directive on how a national convention can be held in this case. INEC must live up to its responsibilities.
So we can conclusively agree here that Lamidi Apapa does not have any ground. No ground to stand. All his claim about being the most senior deputy, and as such, he takes affairs of the leadership of the Labour Party, is null and void. Firstly, because of the Supreme Court's ruling. There's a whole lot to unpack here, but I think as a matter of urgency and aggressive as well, Peter Obi, Otti, Nenadi Usman, and the other senior members of the Labour Party, they need to, by all means possible, aggressively deal with the slapstick distraction of Mr. Lamidi Apapa. And I will tell you why. But first, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you've been following us and you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe, like, share, And also recommend this channel to others because we have intelligent conversations here and we want you to be part of it. But make sure you watch this to the end as well. I said that earlier to say this. Peter Obi needs, and Alex Otti, Peter Obi, Nenadi Usman, all the senior chaps in the Labour Party needs to be fast, aggressive, and be very quick, be decisive in dealing with the distraction brought in by Lamidi Apapa. You can presume that his distraction is a bought one to keep Labour Party fiddling around and not being, concentrated on the fact that they need to put up a very good resistance and opposition. And this is where I'm going to with why I said that. PDP does not have any credibility right now. PDP does not pose any distraction or opposition to APC. Reason being that because of the crisis in PDP. And Nigerians also have their misgivings with SDP. But also bear in mind that you have a Wike who's playing both sides and distracting and causing havoc with PDP. And plus the fact that Nigerians obviously know that APC and PDP are one and the same. They're just the Siamese twins. Okay. So with that said, we're only left with one party. And because Nigerians are still gravitating towards Peter Obi, and Peter Obi is still betting his lot with the Labour Party, Nigerians will only look at and say, all right, what are you doing? And APC needs APC needs Labour Party to stay distracted. When they look at Omoyele Sowore, they think he does not have the numbers, so they will leave him alone. But they need Peter Obi and the Labour Party to be distracted. And people like Lamidi Apapa are sort of the distractions that they want. Okay, you still have the like of Abayomi Arabambi, who will come out at some point later out of the woodworks. We're waiting for that to happen. But the ground on which Lamidi Apapa is standing on is distraction and is nothing. You can't build something on nothing. You need something to stand on, and then you can build on from there on. That's why I said Nigerians need Peter Obi, and he has to do that by acting very decisively and be very fast in his dealings so that they can quell the noise that Lamidi Apapa brings on. All right? And they need to get to INEC. I mean, they've gone to INEC already. They've submitted the CTC to INEC. They've made their case. They need to now chase INEC to follow the process quickly so that they can be recognized. They can carry out their necks. They can carry out their leadership structure from the ground up, from the local government to the state to the federal as well. And then Nigerians can, and then they can then start forming their policies of what they want to do. So that Nigerians, if they're following and they're listening and looking at Labour Party, they can then say to Labour, show us your candidates. Let the candidates start to come out from wherever they're coming out from. All right? And then so we can then start to examine those candidates, examine their antecedents, examine their characters, examine the kind of work they're doing. And let us then see the kind of character they have, the kind of capacity they have. If they're able to do the job that they want Nigerians to employ them to do. These are the kind of questions we need. We need those policies. We need to interact with those policies. We need to examine those policies. Even Peter Obi's policies, we need to, question those policies. Because it's one thing to say one thing when you don't have the data. It's nothing to do another thing. We know politicians do the same thing. So if Atiku Abubakar, Bola Tinubu, Peter Obi is the one with the best credibility of the three of them, show us the policies and how you're going to do the work. Do you understand? So this is why I'm saying that Peter Obi needs to act ASAP. They need to be decisive. They need to be aggressive in dealing and quelling the noise. They took it for, they were going the way of, niceness and kindness and peace, want to exhaust all options. All options have now been exhausted. The Supreme Court has given the final say. So we've got the final say right now. You just need to make sure that INEC, if it's INEC that's going to be subjectively deciding and, chaperoning this process, and babysitting this process to completion, yeah, by all means. But this needs to be dealt with ASAP. You need to bring people to come to the TV stations and then speak on these so that people know that Lamidi Apapa is a distraction. We already figured out, but you need to take ownership of the narrative. And that's one way of dealing with it. You understand? And then you can then focus on the convention and your leadership and look at your offices, your secretariat, and then start to get people in different positions and sensitize people. And then you start the campaign process. Bola Tinubu is already doing his own. You can see the moves they're making all over Rivers State, Bayelsa, and the others, and even Edo State. So you have to be quick. You have to gain grounds right now because you've lost grounds because of all this lawsuit that has happened so far. This is my own thinking. I'm not sure if that's what you think the situation will be, but I want to find out from you. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that analysis? And how well do you think Peter Obi and Alex Otti and the like should quickly and aggressively move, if that's what you're thinking? You know, because you cannot play checkers in the game of chess. You know, with all this distraction, all this while, Labour Party have been playing checkers. APC have been playing chess. You need to catch up right now. You need to do it quickly. Do you understand? And Nigerians are looking for a way out of this conundrum we found ourselves in the fact that we have APC in government and the destruction that APC came with. We need to fix our society, and we need leaders who have visions for tomorrow. You see my point? So let's make sure that we do this the right way. And let's make sure that us as a people, if we're betting on the Labour Party, let's make sure we put the pressure on Labour Party to bring and to be straight up, and remove all this distraction. Now, you can argue that Lamidi Apapa's distraction is paid for from outside forces. If that may be the case, but you need to quell that noise quickly. And now we know the case can go back to court anyway. So INEC has to be the one to say, all right, we've seen the final CTC from the Supreme Court. Lamidi Apapa, sorry, you don't have a case anymore. You expired your time with Abure. So you're gone. Now, these are the people that have given us the CTC. Then let's move on. And then INEC recognizes the right person. They can then take INEC to court. Then they can be dealing with that and let Peter Obi continue with it, and then Nenadi continue with their work. We can then start to see whether there's credible challenge against Bola Tinubu come 2027. And let us start interacting with their policies. We need those policies. Those days of giving Ghanaian beans and sharing food and 10,000 naira should be past us now, because we've seen the effect of it. All right, so if you agree with what I said, fine. Please put that in the comment section. If you don't agree, also put that in the comment section. Let's have that sort of interactive, intelligent conversation we have on this channel. And then let's make sure we make Nigeria work. As always, if you're meeting with this content for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. Check other videos on this channel. And also recommend this channel to others. And if you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, please do so. And join in the comment section as well. And also recommend this channel to others. Let's be part of this community together, because this channel belongs to me and you. All right. And let others participate in the commentary that you put as well too. As always, God bless you. Bye-bye for now, and catch you up in the next video.